Welcome back to another new video, and today this one might go a little bit long, hopefully not, but I'm going to address some points that are going to be semi-controversial, but they're facts. And as I've shared in my last few videos, I just like to deal with reality. I go back to when I was in high school. I would literally overanalyze everything down to the most realistic, absolute black and white, this is what it means, rather than trying to look beyond or look for some sneakiness. I just tried to understand things in for what they are rather than what I might think they are or what might fit my agenda. I'm the same guy today, and in business, I do the same thing. While the rest of the world and sometimes people in my life are spending time in drama and opinions and conspiracy theories and anger and all kinds of strife over things that maybe aren't even true, but they definitely get sucked into that narrative, I try to dig down and look at everybody's side and find out what the truth is, not my opinion. My opinion sometimes is based in emotion, and sometimes that emotion drives decisions, and those decisions sometimes end up being wrong. So I try to deal with facts and reality when I try to make decisions, because oftentimes in my career and throughout my life, many other people are affected by the decisions I'm empowered to make. And that's created a level of responsibility I feel in my life to give good information. I do the same thing with my daughter. She'll come to me with a situation at school, and I'll break it back down and go, let's just talk about the brass taxes and the facts of the situation rather than how it makes us feel, because how it makes us feel is not going to lead us to an ultimately a good decision that's going to be strategic in nature and get us to where we need to go. So I'm going to put some slides up on the screen because that's going to help me. And I feel like I'm doing a business meeting, but for all of us, I think we need this. I think we need to get down and dirty and just understand some basic things about why Dodge is doing the things they do, why they've done the things they've done, and how we can logically look at the outcome. I'm doing this from a perspective of a business person, someone who also works at a company that has many franchise locations and also does massive business. I oversee a region that does nearly $200 million in business. So as I've shared before, for the most part, I'm an uneducated idiot, but extremely strategic and based all of my decisions in reality. And when I run this business, decisions I make them kind of like how I'm going to present these things to you all to help people understand. So let's go ahead and jump right in so I don't take too much time babbling, as you all know I'm capable of doing. So I'm going to go ahead and pop up another screen and then pop up my screen, and I'm going to run through these as fast as possible. And I want to share with you the real story behind Dodge's last call cars, as well as how it affects all the cars that we've been getting sold this last year, last couple years, last 5 years. This is my opinion, the facts, the clear perspective based on facts and reality. And I want to define that reality versus fiction. Let's first all understand, because some of you are going to want to blast me in the comments thinking I sold out, or I'm pushing a narrative that doesn't fit your opinion or your feeling. I'm just going to deal with reality. And if you'll come with me on this trip of reality versus fiction, then I think you'll be able to accept and understand some of why we're going to do what we're going to do when it comes to buying these cars and decisions we're going to make as we make decisions to buy these cars. So let's go ahead and look at who we blame for some of the issues that we're dealing with regards to these cars. So fictional stories purposely include information that aren't based in fact or real life experiences. Reality is factual and based on real life experiences that can't be disputed. Opinion versus fact. A fact is a statement that can be verified. A lot of things I'm going to say today are going to be verifiable data you can go look up and confirm, not just my opinion. And in some cases, I'll flex an opinion out there. An opinion is an expression of belief about something, which we all have about all these cars. The next, perspective, a particular attitude towards or way of regarding something, a point of view. So sometimes people are looking at things from their point of view, and you got to bring them to your point of view, and then they open up, and then you find some level of understanding between each other. And I think that's what I'm going to try to get across today. Let's talk about the word empirical, because I use these words a lot. It's based on or concerned with or verifiable by observation or experience rather than theory or pure logic. So some of the numbers, some of the stats, some of the information I'll share with you, they're just empirical facts. We can't argue with the empirical facts. And then next, this is the topics. Did Tim lie about the last Demon promise? Will the new Demon devalue the 2018 Demon, the last Durango Hellcat 2021, and back in 2023? Did Dodge build these cars for enthusiasts or collectors? Or, I'm going to share with you a third option. Can Dodge control dealer markups and Dodge's attempt to stop markups by prioritizing sold orders at MSRP? So let's talk about, was Tim lying to sell Demons? So if we go back to 2018, 2017, when he started pitching the Demons, he said, and people have played the recording 1,000 times, I can't imagine him watching half these videos going, God, boy, they're just railing him out. I mean, just brutal. But here's the deal. I don't think there's a single one of us out there that really believes, despite our emotions, that Tim flat out lied, knowing that he was going to bring back a Demon 6 years later. If you think that, then you're giving him and everyone at Dodge way too much credit. I think we all have to agree that when he said this, he and Dodge 100% believed it to be true. So all these accusations, and believe me, I'm not just defending for the sake of defending. I'm just dealing with fact and reality, because in my business, I've had to stand up and say things as an executive in a company, and then the market changes, the universe changes. I mean, promises I made in 2019 pre-pandemic, if everybody held me to those promises in the middle or coming out of a pandemic when I've had to change things, I mean, I'd be called a liar every day of my life. I just don't think that would be fair, considering that things change. Now, do we have control of the decisions we make in the future? Absolutely, and we're going to talk about that. But let's first, on principle, agree that there's no way that Tim got up and lied, that Dodge said, let's lie to them, tell them we're never going to build it again, and then come back in 2023 and then sell them another Demon. There's nobody that did that. And by the way, in the future lawsuits that might come, they're going to discover that, because they're going to go through and pull every email, every single letter, every deep, dark room conversation, and prove that that was the last time they're ever going to build a Demon. And then things changed. A lot changed. So what happened in the last 6 years? Well, Stellantis merged and bought Dodge in 2021, completely transitioning ownership and ultimately lots of high-level executive leadership. Like it or not, this is a new company, and all bets are off. To us, it looks the same. Many people were screaming, SRT is dead. They're getting rid of everybody. This thing's good. I mean, all the rumors, everything that was flying back then were insane. But they didn't do this deal and spend all this money to be told what they can and can't do. When you buy a company, it's yours. All bets are off. You have to do what you have to do to fix that company, repair that company, make that company profitable, keep that company alive, make it survive. And sometimes that means you might have to go back on a promise because things have changed. That's why it drives me crazy when everybody's so angry about this Demon issue, when it's like so much has changed. How about this? Performance benchmarks got moved by faster and faster cars, and EV raised the bar, adding to it. You got C8 Corvettes, Mustang GT500s, Black Wings, you got Tesla Plaid, etc. The 2018 Demon was and still is amazing. But 6 years later, the bar has been raised, and Dodge could either meet or exceed it or just throw in the towel. And frankly, I thought that was what was happening with the sticker cars. And as you all know, I was mad. I was angry. But why did Dodge have to use the Demon name again? Well, let's go there. Why did Dodge have to use the Demon name again and screw all the original Demon owners? Remember, this falls down to my opinion. This is not fact. So we're going to flip-flop back and forth between these things. But there's two ways to look at this. One, they could call it the Ghoul or something else, and the Demon owners are mad because a new track-ready, significantly improved Demon look-alike was made with a different name. People would stop asking if you had a Demon and now ask if you had a Ghoul, making a Demon a distant memory. Folks, every time I talk to somebody, they go, do you have a Demon? And I'm like, no, man, I have a Scat Pack. What's a Scat Pack? Oh, I have a Hellcat. Well, what's that? If they don't know our that brand, Demon's what they know because there was so much publicity behind that insane car. So they had an option number two. Honor the Demon lineage and tie them together. Look you in the face and say, look, we're making another one. We're not gonna devalue the Demon name. for the Demon owners to ensure that Dodge Demon name is the only name to go down in history as the fastest mass-produced production cars ever made. To carry that Demon name means exclusivity and greatness. So why would they bring out a ghoul that makes the Demon name play second fiddle to anyone? As a non-Demon owner, I can't imagine how you guys and gals feel out there. Me personally, I would have been mad at first and then thought it through and thought, wow, they're both insanely limited production and special in their own right. More on that subject is, won't the Demon 170 devalue the 2018 Demon? Who knows? But with Scat Packs going for $70,000 right now, regular Hellcats selling for record prices, and Demons are still selling for $50,000 plus original MSRP. I think we're all talking out of both our mouths, both sides of our mouths. If we think the 2018 Demon will suddenly crash in value, we know that's not going to happen. You all know how I feel. I don't see any of these cars other than the 2018 Demon and now the 2023 Demon 170 as investments or collector's items. Those are the main two cars I see. Maybe the Durango has a chance, but it's an SUV. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near as sought after as these two real true, born and bred, bloodline muscle cars. I think no matter how you cut it, everybody calls everything else an investment. The only cars that are going to be guaranteed good investments long term are going to be the 2018 Demon and the 2023 Demon. That's it. Out of the hundreds and hundreds of thousands, if not millions of cars built by Dodge, these two runs are going to be the cars that you will make money on over time. You sit on them long enough to keep the miles low enough, you'll make money. But you all keep paying insane money for them, for all the other ones. And if you want a 2018 Demon today with under 1,000 miles, you're going to pay $175,000 plus. And with more miles on them, you'll still pay $150,000 plus. And with less than 100 miles on them, you're going to pay $250,000 plus. They're up to $300,000 plus $300,000 plus dollars online right now. And suddenly the prices went up, which leads me to empirically, that word speaking, the launch of the Demon 170 appears to have given new life to the 2018 Demon pricing on Car Gurus. I expect this is because getting a 170 is nearly impossible. But if you can scrape together $150,000 to $200,000, you can at least get yourself a 2018 Demon that was built pre-Stellantis merger, making it unique and special in its own right, and maybe even the most special one years to come. I believe it will be pre-Stellantis Dodge car that people are going to say that one was the real original, and that car has a chance of going to the moon. That one, by the way, a lot of them were driven, a lot of them have a lot of miles on them, and there's some opportunity there with those cars. Bottom line, you're still paying $200,000, $300,000. As soon as they launch the Demon 170, all 2018 Demon prices appear to have gone up, not down. Go look online, look at the history. People started raising their prices because you can't get a 170, but boy, you can. If you have a couple, even if you have $200,000, you probably can't get one, but you can get yourself into a regular Demon for $150,000, $175,000 all day long from 2018. Lastly, if I owned a 2018 Demon, let's say number 1126, I'd expect whoever gets the 170 Demon, number 120 or 1126, is going to be willing to pay me a pretty penny to get my car. What about Demon number 66, Demon number 170, or 666, or 1,666, or 2,666? If you've got those numbers, are we talking $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 for those cars for the older Demons, just so that these people can match their cars in their garage? These are people who paid massive amounts of money for those numbers, for those build numbers. You got to imagine they're going to want the original Demon, car number 666, and pay whatever in the heck you want for it. If it was named a Ghoul or something, this would not be a factor at all. Next, weren't these cars built for enthusiasts or collectors? They were built for neither. They were built for everyone. Everyone who they could reach to pull into this love story with these cars. To a huge extent, Dodge built these cars, as they said, because they could, but even more so to build the brand and to bring more people in as customers. Why? Because that reinforces the pride of the existing owners and makes their businesses financially work. Think of how Dodge has made us all say Mopar or no car, despite whoever the hell owns that company, whatever country these cars are built in. We are so neurotic about and fanatic about these cars, Mopar or no car. No one says Mustang or no Stang. Like, it's all Mopar. The belief is so deep because of what they've done in building this car, allowing anyone and everyone, whether you live in a small town in the middle of America or the inner city or in the luxury suburbs, you could get one of these cars and be in a club of amazingly cool, fun people who drive their cars and enjoy them. It's the general public. Enthusiasts, definitely they become after they buy the car. But that's who. And collectors happen to happen. Dodge spent millions of dollars advertising these Hemi cars to the general market. And they caught guys like me who don't race, didn't understand a quarter-mile times, but I saw my wife's friend's dad who had a black Scat Pack in his garage, and I thought, damn, that's a cool-looking car. What the hell is that? And next thing you know, I have one, and I suddenly hate Mustangs, and I talk trash about them. It's hilarious. I don't even know why. I just know that's what we do. We make fun of Mustangs, talk about hitting trees. That's what we do. We talk about Chevy also. You can't get us to buy one of those things. It's hilarious. I became one of those. Right now, literally everyone who sees me on my Charger asks me, did you see that new car they launched with a parachute on it? I get texts from people who know nothing about Dodge, but suddenly intrigued with the blatant insanity of this car maker. What they don't say that about Camaro. They don't say that about Ford. They don't say it about Chevy. Yeah, they talk about the Z06. It's pretty amazing. But that doesn't have a freaking parachute on the back. And people keep asking me, are you going to get one of those demons? Are you going to get one of those demons? It wouldn't matter if I had an 18 or that car or the new 170. They'd be impressed if I said, yeah, man, I got a demon. Because people have been saying it to me since 2018. Do you got a demon? Is it a demon? It's just, what a name. Next, we were all able to buy our cars at MSRP or less with power dollars. Remember that? Allowing anyone to join the club, anyone in the general public, and buy a 500 horsepower Scat Pack for $50,000, an RT for $35,000, Hellcats for under $70,000. Let's not forget that. The pandemic screwed everything up. But the bottom line is, anyone could get into that club. And then once these cars were used, yes, they dropped in value rapidly. You lose 20-30% instantly, suddenly pushing these cars into the hands of anyone who wanted to drive a fun, cool car but couldn't afford one. And that is America. That is beautiful. That is absolute just exactly what Dodge's intention was. And then the pandemic hit. Supply chain got hit. Dealers got a taste of markups. And then the holy grail of price gouging news was the last call of the end of the Hemi. And the salesman pitch became, these cars will double and triple in value. You heard the recordings. I've got these people saying that to me. In value as collector's items. And then the FOMO, fear of missing out, set in, and buyers lost their ability to logically reason how stupid it was to pay $25,000 plus $1,000 over MSRP, and everyone became a collector to justify their reasoning to buy the car. We told our wives, but this car is going to be a collector's item. And then they said, okay, well then go ahead and buy that insanely stupid thing that you can kill yourself in. I understand it. I've done it too. I just won't pay the markups. We're as guilty as the dealers. I'm sorry, folks. Let's face it. We're as guilty as the dealers. Dodge built the car for us at a good price with modest increases, and dealers took our excitement and used it against us, and we let them do it. Next, Dodge versus dealerships. Markups. Whose fault is this? Let's remember, there are two completely different entities. This is for everyone out there, and I don't think I've ever explained this well enough. I've touched on it a bunch of times, but I just want to drive this point home. Every dealership is a franchise and has an owner that is not Dodge. A franchisor has to depend on their franchisee's success for their own survival. A franchisor can simply suggest the price charged for a product. Dodge has two customers, the franchisees and the general public. And this used to work in fairly perfect alignment until the supply shortage. Even before then, Dodge said, we have one customer. It was the dealers. And they would give power dollars and everything else so the dealers could make more money and succeed at a higher level. And they kept the margins really good for the dealers to be able to make enough money with these rebates and everything else. And then the supply shortage came. And the dealers jumped in and took advantage of this. Next, Dodge cannot sell direct to the general public due to franchise laws in most states. Just like I and my company can't put a company-owned office right next door to one of the dealer-owned offices. I can't do that. I'd be sued instantaneously, and so would Dodge. Next, now Dodge is at odds, imagine this, with both of their customers. Markups over markups. Despite only slightly raising MSRP prices of their cars, along with competition, building costs, material costs, labor shortages, everything else. Imagine being in this position. And when I say they modestly raise their prices, if you think about it, a few $1,000s a year, not even accounting for inflation, just the normal cost of materials alone, labor alone, union issues, strikes, emissions challenges, all these things, and we've got fairly modest prices that kind of track along with the inflation and the cost of goods. But dealers took advantage of this and jacked the prices way up. Dodge could have went way higher. Who would have thought we'd see a Corvette that MSRP starts reaching in $160,000, $170,000 range? I don't think Chevy did listen to Dodge when they rolled out the Z06. Now you want to buy a Z06, you want well optioned, you're reaching exotic car prices at MSRP before markups. Not with Dodge. They roll out a 1,000 horsepower monstrosity and price it under $100,000 if you want the base model. Of course, the dealers do what they're going to do, but they're doing that with the Vets too. So the dealers have capitalized on Dodge's low prices, lower supply, and high demand by adding huge markups. That's a fact. And we keep on paying them while complaining the entire way. We are part of the problem. We need to stop paying these things. But as long as we keep doing it, they're going to keep doing it. But it's not Dodge, it's the dealerships. So I'm less angry with them. But can't they control dealer pricing? Can't Dodge do something about it? I mean, everybody else is saying they are. Everybody's giving lip service on this one. Because the reality of it is, the dealers are going to do what they're going to do. The short answer is no. It's the law, period. They can't. Period. Look it up. That's one of those facts I was talking about. Do they want to? The short answer is, of course they do. I would bet anything. If I could talk to Tim, if I could talk to any of the executives there, they will say, and I think we've heard them say it, they would love to stop the markups. Do you think they enjoy 10,000 plus videos and articles a day bashing them into the ground? They don't make a dime more when a dealership charges a markup. There's literally nothing in it for Dodge other than headaches. Nothing. They don't make a single dime more. When if a dealership charges a $100,000 markup, boom, guess what? They don't send a little love letter with a check in it to Dodge manufacturers at all. Period. End of story. Dodge would love these things to sell at MSRP because it drives the brand story home. If anything, the brand is getting tarnished because of what's happening right now, and that puts them at risk at the manufacturer level in delivering these cars to the market and not getting people switching to Ford, which has been happening. You got people ordering Mustangs out there because they're sick of dealing with this stuff. But if you can get a Mustang but you can't get one of these, what does it say about how amazing these cars are? Next, the facts are the same for every brand, whether it's a Demon, a Z06, or an Xbox, or what's that, PS5, Sony PlayStation. I thought, man, I'm going to buy my daughter a PlayStation 5. That'd be cool. And when I say buy my daughter one, it's like buy me one and say I got it for my daughter so that I can play on it too. And when I was looking at the prices, these things are getting marked up 3-4 times. And then they're on eBay being sold for thousands of dollars, $5,000, ridiculous prices. And you know what? People are paying them, so they're getting away with it. But here's the fact. Manufacturer sets the price. The market determines the value. If no one paid over MSRP, there would be no markup. So if all of you stopped tomorrow, dealers would bend, period. If no one paid under MSRP, Saturn would still be around. Some of you are scratching your head because you're younger going, what the hell is a Saturn? That's the point. They would be gone. If no one would even pay under, if you had to discount the car by 50% and no one wants it, they'd be gone. But in these cars, you can raise them by 100%, and people are still lining up to buy them. Says a lot about the brand, and I think everything Dodge has done up to now to make us all love this brand. Next, I'm almost done, folks. Is Dodge at least trying to help? Well, yes. Dodge tried the horsepower locator, and instead of dealers competing for the business, which we thought, and I even did a video on, thought they would, you'd be able to call one and say, I know you got 6, the other guy's got 10. Nope. We, instead of playing hardball with them, we rolled up with our checkbooks and said, whatever you want for the car, I just want to get the allocation. And all the dealers follow each other. There's all kinds of accusations of price fixing and stuff happening with the dealerships, and within hours they all align in prices. Maybe they do. I don't even know. It sure looks like they probably did, because you called 10 dealerships and they all sound like the same exact guys answering the phone saying the same exact thing. Oh no, I want $50,000 for my Hellcats. But the reality of it is, if you make more calls, you can find some without markups. But the rest of us, I don't know, some of them just give up. So With the Demon 170, Tim said they'd prioritize orders at MSRP or below and have the buyer sign a notarized document affirming this. Lying on this document would be considered fraud. Let's get that out of the way. You sign a notarized document making a statement, but how are they going to find out, right? Nobody knows. But let's look. I just saw this article in Motor Trend today, and this is pretty incredible. There is empirical data that Dodge is sharing that 63% came back of those documents that, by the way, when you buy a Demon 170, you get a 2 or 3 page. I've watched a few videos of people ordering them, of a document that has all the safety disclaimers and everything they sign off on, but at the top of the page, it's like, I agree, yes, I paid MSRP or less, or I paid over MSRP. And then they have to go to a UPS store or somewhere and get a notary to notarize that document, and then that document gets sent into Dodge, and then Dodge prioritizes that build if it was at MSRP or below. Now here's the deal. 63% of these Demon 170s, they say, came back notarized that the car was sold at MSRP or less. I don't know whether that's true or not. I put down here, so are they lying? It's possible, but I expect Dodge will find out, and we may see some fireworks. How are they going to find out? Because after those people who lied, because the dealer said, I'll sell you a Demon at sticker, and I'll sell you tinted windows for $100,000, that they're going to tell somebody. They're going to open their mouth, and they're going to tell somebody, and it's going to get out. Or they're going to lawyer up after the deal's done and say the dealer coerced me and said I wouldn't get my car if I didn't agree to lie and sign a notarized document. There will be some nasty lawsuits that take place if that's happening, and I look forward to seeing those. Next, I put down here, or are dealership owners and friends of owners buying them to flip them as used? I think that's definitely happening. Some owners are definitely buying all the allocations or some of the allocations. But Dodge would know if it was the dealership owner, obviously. But close friends, family, etc., who knows whether they would know or not? And lastly, what do some dealers say? Well, I spoke to several dealers, and I had these conversations at car meets with dealership owners and other places. And I won't say their names, but this is literally had this conversation this weekend, where the dealers told me that Dodge has intentionally whittled the margins down on the cars so they make very little money per unit sold. One even showed me the invoice versus what they sold the car for. Now, if they got it below invoice from Dodge, I don't know. I can only tell you what was shared with me. And this is why they say, this is why we have to do markups, because we can't survive. Yet we know that profits have been huge. Very huge for many, many years. And I understand, let's say they made $10,000 per car. I don't know, $6,000, $7,000 per car. And let's say now they say they're only making $1,000 or $2,000 per car. And then if they don't charge markups, my question is why does the markup have to be $25,000? Why does that have to be $50,000? You're not exactly trying to make up for the whittled margin if that's what Dodge did to you. And if Dodge did that to you, my next point is, there's another way to look at this. It has cost Dodge much more money to produce these cars, pay to pass emissions, regulatory dancing, yet they've only raised MSRP a few $1,000s a year or so to account for that. So rather than raising their prices super high, did they whittle the margins knowing that greedy dealers were going to mark these up anyways? Was Dodge trying to help us out? I gotta believe, because there's nothing in it for Dodge manufacturer to see markups go to the moon, that they've been doing everything they can behind the scenes. I believe Tim has been doing everything he can behind the scenes, but he's beholden to two leaders, two customers. He's got two customers screaming at him now, angry, saying, no, don't take away our ability to do this, which he can't, to do the markups. And by the way, the customer's saying, I can't believe you're letting this happen. So he puts in all these little stopgaps trying to help. But the reality of it is, even if Dodge, I even thought, what if Dodge raised the prices to $130,000, $150,000 and just then gave a $50,000 back in power dollars? Would that screw the dealerships? No, the cars would go to $300,000. They would still figure out how to hose us. I mean, there's just no real good answer all the way around for this. So I'll end with this. This probably should be on the wall in every dealership. And no offense, dealers, I get it. This is capitalism. This is America. It is best and worst at the same time. And I don't know all of your situations out there, but I don't like the markups. But it feels like you've all subscribed to W.C. Fields' quote, "It's morally wrong to allow a sucker to keep his money." So I'll leave with this, folks, I'll end with this. That if you give them your money, if you give them $25,000, $30,000, $50,000, $100,000 for a car, then you deserve what you get. If you future appreciation up front to the dealership, then you deserve to have a car that never goes up in value. And there's demon owners screaming that, well, I paid $150,000 for my car and it's only worth $150,000. You should have waited. You should have got one for MSRP or not bought one at all, because now you've been sitting on a car for 6 years waiting for it to go up, and the dealer took your appreciation off the table up front. I'm done blaming Dodge. I didn't like the sticker cars, but I'm very proud of what they delivered with the Demon 170. That car is special. The 2018 Demon is special. Even the Durango is special if you like SUVs with humongous engines in them. But I will tell you, no matter how you cut it, you can't blame. I'm not going to blame Dodge. I'm not happy with them coming out with an electric car, but I'm confident they're going to come out with the gas car. I love the brand. I love the cars. And since there's so many of them out there in the world right now, for many years to come, we're going to be able to buy these things on the used market. And today, if you go searching for 2022s, 2021s, 2020s, you're going to be able to pick one up. And I believe that our love for these cars shouldn't end. I'm not going to go jumping over to Mustang. I've thought about it. I'm not going to go jumping over to Chevy and buy a Corvette. I'm going to hold on to my Dodge. I'm going to keep trying to find a car at MSRP. I'm going to appeal to every dealership's common sense that you're better off taking great care of a customer who's going to buy many cars from you in the future than keep making us upset. Or we're all going to benefit because maybe these cars in the secondary market end up just holding their value than other cars. I don't know. I believe no matter how you cut it, the Demons, both of them, are going to hold their value, and they're going to go up. There's no way around it. There's so few of them out there. And for everyone that gets totaled on a track, everyone that gets destroyed or disappears or shipped out of the country, makes the existing ones cost more. But for regular, standard Hellcats, Scat Packs, everything else, there's so many of them out there. You'd be lucky if you just hold on to your value. So be careful with these markups. Don't pay them. Be smart out there, everybody, and I hope this makes sense, and I hope I brought you all along to just what's really happening out there to understand who to point your anger at, and I did not sell out to anybody. Again, this was just downright facts, but someone's going to still beat me up in the comments. With that, everybody, please like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.